All right, I found some good ones this week. Minecraft's going in the background. Let's get into it. Okay, first one. There's a 23-year-old guy whose girlfriend is a picky eater. She doesn't like fish or pork. She's not allergic to either, she just doesn't like them, has never liked them, and simply doesn't eat them. He's known this since early in their relationship. She's been clear and consistent about it. It's not a new thing. One Saturday, they go out to eat in Chinatown with another couple, his friend and his friend's girlfriend. They order spring rolls as an appetizer. Standard spring rolls, nothing on the menu indicating anything unusual about them. His girlfriend eats them without saying anything. She enjoys them, finishes her portion, moves on to the main course. Here's the thing. The spring rolls had shrimp in them. He knew this when they ordered. His friend knew too. Both of them were apparently in on it, thought it would be a funny experiment to see what happened, and deliberately said nothing to her about it. After the meal, they tell her. She's immediately and genuinely upset. She says it's disrespectful and a violation of her trust to trick her into eating something she has repeatedly told him she doesn't want to eat. She's not upset that she ate shrimp specifically. She's upset that he deliberately withheld information to influence what she put in her body without her knowledge. He responds by saying she obviously likes shrimp because she ate the whole thing and didn't complain once. So clearly she's been wrong about her own preferences this whole time, and she's being too sensitive and needs to grow up about it. She stopped talking to him. Was he wrong? Yes, completely. She has a food preference. He is aware of it. He made a deliberate decision to deceive her in order to prove something about her own taste buds. And then, when she had a reasonable reaction to finding out, he used the success of the deception as an argument against her feelings. The fact that she ate it without realizing doesn't mean the deception was acceptable. It means it worked. You don't get to secretly override someone's stated preferences and then tell them their feelings about it are the problem. And coordinating this with his friend in advance, turning it into a little experiment on his girlfriend, makes the whole thing significantly worse. Next one. This guy met his wife Rona in college. They dated for a while, moved in together, eventually got married after a few years together. At their wedding, he met one of her old friends, Anna, who offered to read his palm and mentioned that she was part psychic. He found it strange and a little off-putting, but he let it go. She seemed harmless enough, and they only saw her occasionally after that, maybe 4 or 5 times over the next couple of years. Then his wife started acting differently. She became distant, more suspicious than usual, started asking questions about where he was going and who he was with, made small accusations about things that didn't add up. He tried to figure out what was going on, but couldn't identify the source of it. Eventually, it came out. Anna had told Rona that she had a vision, a full psychic vision, that he was cheating on her. No specific detail about who with or when, no evidence whatsoever, no incident that had actually happened, just a vision. And Rona had fully believed it. She took this claim from a friend she sees a few times a year and treated it as reliable intelligence about her marriage. She started going through his phone every chance she got, started tracking his schedule more closely, and eventually sat him down and confronted him using Anna's vision as the primary piece of evidence. He was calm about it. He told her clearly and directly that he had not cheated on her, had never cheated on her at any point in their relationship, and that a psychic friend's unsubstantiated vision was simply not a legitimate basis for accusing him of infidelity. She said she trusted Anna's intuition more than his denial. She said she couldn't just ignore what Anna had told her. He filed for divorce shortly after. After he filed, Rona came back to him with new information. Anna had confessed. Apparently, the two of them had a serious falling out over something unrelated, and in the aftermath, Anna admitted that the whole vision had been fabricated. She'd made it up entirely. Rona came to him, apologized, and asked him to stop the divorce proceedings. He said no. Was he wrong for refusing to stop the divorce after she came with proof the psychic had lied? No. Anna lying is important context, but it's not actually the core issue here. The core issue is that Rona made the decision to believe an unverifiable claim from a friend, with zero evidence, no specific details, nothing, over her own husband who she had been with for years. Anna didn't dismantle the marriage. Rona's willingness to choose a made-up psychic vision over her partner's direct denial is what dismantled it. An apology and a retraction don't undo that choice. And there's something telling about the fact that she only came back once the source admitted to lying. Not because she sat with it and realized on her own that she'd been wrong. That matters. Okay, this next one I find genuinely moving. 17 years ago, this man's best friend died in a car accident. They were both 20 years old at the time, just starting out in life, close as brothers. His friend's girlfriend was 6 months pregnant when it happened. Her own family had cut her off after finding out about the pregnancy. They were religious and wanted nothing to do with it. So when the accident happened, she had nobody. No family support, no financial cushion, no one to turn to. He stepped in without hesitation. He helped her through the rest of the pregnancy, was in the hospital when the baby was born, helped her find stable housing, helped her navigate the logistics of being a single mother with no support system. He showed up consistently, not just in the weeks after the accident, but in the months and years that followed. Over time, the two of them spent more and more of their lives intertwined, raising this child together, processing the shared grief of losing someone they both loved deeply. And somewhere in all of that, they fell in love with each other. It wasn't quick, it wasn't a distraction. It developed slowly over years. They eventually got married. By the time they made it official, the daughter was about 7 years old and had been calling him dad for years already. He is, in every practical and emotional sense, her father. He is the only father she has ever known. The daughter is now 17. She recently sat down and really thought through the timeline. How old was her mom when the accident happened? How old was this man? How quickly did they end up together after her biological father died? And something in the math started to feel suspicious to her. She became convinced that they had been romantically involved before the accident, that he had been in a relationship with her mom while her biological father was still alive. He says this is simply not true. There was no romantic involvement before the accident. But the daughter has decided she believes her own version and has shut both of them out completely. She won't speak to him. She won't engage with her mom about it. She's rejecting years of relationship and family history based on a theory she constructed in her head. He is completely heartbroken. He has been there for this girl her entire life. Was he wrong for marrying his late best friend's girlfriend? No. He stepped in for someone who was completely alone in an impossible situation, built a life alongside her, and became a father to a child who needed one. That's not a betrayal of his friend. I'd argue it's one of the most meaningful things you can do for someone you've lost, which is to take care of the people they loved. The daughter's pain and confusion are real and valid. Processing something like this at 17, when you're already navigating who you are and where you come from, is genuinely hard. But she built a theory, decided it was fact, and closed the door on the man who raised her because of it. I hope she finds her way back to him eventually. All right, next one. This woman's dad remarried when she was young. Her stepmom has been in her life for most of it. They have a civil relationship, not close, not warm, just cordial. They're not hostile to each other, they just never bonded. She's getting married this year. Her dad assumed he and her stepmom would both be part of the wedding in some capacity. She told him he was welcome to walk her down the aisle, but she did not want her stepmom at the wedding at all. Not at the ceremony, not at the reception. The stepmom is not invited. Her dad is devastated and says her stepmom has been in the family for years and excluding her is a serious insult. Extended family is weighing in on both sides. The stepmom hasn't said a lot publicly but is clearly hurt. The poster says it's her wedding, she should be surrounded by people she genuinely loves, and having someone there she feels indifferent toward in a major role is not what she wants. Was she wrong for excluding her stepmom from the wedding entirely? This is genuinely complicated, and I've been going back and forth on it. On one hand, it's her wedding, and nobody is owed an invitation. Having a civil but distant relationship doesn't mean they get a seat. On the other hand, asking her dad to walk her down the aisle while his wife sits at home is a significant ask. She's not just excluding a guest, she's asking her dad to be present at one of the biggest moments of his life without his partner. I understand her position. I also understand why this is painful. There's no clean answer here, but I don't think this is as simple as, it's her day. Okay, this one is short, but I had to include it. Someone brought a rabbit to a funeral. Before you react, context. This person has an emotional support rabbit. They were very close to the person who died and were struggling with the grief significantly. They didn't announce they were bringing the rabbit. They didn't make a scene about it. They brought it quietly in a bag and kept it contained throughout the service. Most people didn't even notice. Afterward, a few family members of the deceased said it was disrespectful and inappropriate to bring an animal to a funeral. The poster says the rabbit genuinely helped them get through one of the hardest days of their life, and they weren't there to perform grief for other people. They were there because they loved the person who died. Was the poster wrong for bringing a rabbit to a funeral? I don't think so. The animal was quiet, contained, and apparently invisible to most people at the service. Emotional support animals exist because some people genuinely need them. If it helped this person stay present and get through the day, and no one even noticed until after, what exactly did it harm? The discomfort people feel about it seems to be about the idea of it more than any actual disruption. That's a pretty weak basis for the disrespectful label. Next one. This person's sister has 3 kids under the age of 7. Both the sister and her husband work full-time. The poster's mom, their shared mom, has been the primary childcare person for the past 4 years. She watches the kids almost every single day while the parents are at work. No contract, no pay, just grandma showing up and being relied upon daily. This has become the standard arrangement that everyone's life is built around. The poster decided to take their mom on a vacation. Just the 2 of them and the poster's spouse, a trip to celebrate her birthday, somewhere she had always wanted to go. They planned it several weeks in advance, paid for everything, and told the family about it. The sister was furious. Said they were being selfish and inconsiderate by taking their mom away during a period when she's needed. Said the poster should have asked her before making any plans that involved their mother. Said it was unfair to just disappear with her without thinking about how it would affect the kids' care. The poster says their mom is a full adult who is genuinely excited about the trip. She hasn't had a real vacation in years. She said yes immediately. The poster doesn't understand why their sister gets a say in when their mom is allowed to travel. Was the poster wrong for not consulting the sister before booking the trip? No. Their mom is an adult who agreed to go and is happy about it. She is not the sister's employee. She is not legally or morally obligated to be available for childcare on every given week. She chose to help, which has been generous, but generosity doesn't create an entitlement. The word stealing, which the sister apparently used to describe taking your own mother on a birthday vacation, is a telling choice. Making plans with your mom for her birthday does not require sign-off from whoever relies on her the most. Finding alternative childcare for 1 week is the sister's responsibility to figure out. She has had 4 years of free, reliable help. 1 trip is not a betrayal. Okay, this next one is quick, but it made me think. So this person got a significant salary increase after a promotion at work. They're in their late 20s, been careful with money for years, have been building up savings towards specific goals. The raise was substantial, and they were genuinely proud of earning it. Their parents found out. And almost immediately, within days, messages started coming in from extended family. An aunt suggested they contribute to a cousin's upcoming wedding. Another relative mentioned a debt they'd been struggling with for a while. A family group chat that had been quiet suddenly got very active, with people sharing updates about their financial situations. Nobody came out and asked directly, but the pattern was clear. The poster's interpretation was that now you're doing well, it's time to help out. They declined everything. Said they worked for this raise, they have their own financial goals they've been working toward for years, and they don't feel an obligation to redirect their income to extended family members just because the news got out. The family reaction has been cold. One aunt went completely silent. Their parents have called them selfish and said they're not acting like family. Were they wrong? No. A promotion is the result of your own work and decisions. It doesn't become shared property because relatives found out about it. I understand that some families operate with a genuinely collective financial approach. That's a real thing, and it comes from a real cultural place in a lot of cases. But an expectation isn't the same as an obligation. And what stands out to me is the timing. These messages arrived within days of the raise becoming known. That's not family support. That's people showing up for the money. The person who earned it gets to decide what to do with it. Last one. This couple has been together for 6 years. They planned a big trip together, the kind you look forward to for months. It was originally her idea, and she took the lead on most of the planning, which he was grateful for and supportive of. He checked in occasionally, said things looked great, trusted her with the details. A week before they leave, he actually sits down and looks at the final numbers. The total is significantly higher than the figure they had agreed on at the start. When he digs into it, he finds out she upgraded the hotel to a nicer property, added 2 excursions that weren't in the original plan, and switched the return flight from economy to business class. All of this was done without telling him. None of it was discussed. They had agreed on a rough budget at the beginning of planning, and she went considerably over it without any conversation. He brings it up. She says she did the majority of the planning work. The upgrades genuinely improved the trip for both of them, and he should have been more engaged with the details if he had opinions about what they were spending. He says that's not the point. They agreed on a number, and she changed it without telling him. He said he'll pay his half of the original budget they agreed on, but he won't pay half of the upgrades since he never had input on them and they were never discussed. She's upset. Says he's making the trip feel transactional right before they leave. Was he wrong? I think he's being reasonable. They had an agreement. She changed it without telling him. The fact that she did more of the planning doesn't give her authority to change the shared budget without a conversation. Those are two separate things. If the upgrades were worth having, that's a decision they should have made together before the money was spent. Surprising your partner with a significantly higher bill a week before departure and then saying they should have been more involved is not a great argument. Paying the agreed amount while declining the unilateral additions seems fair. The trip being transactional isn't something he created. It's a consequence of having a financial disagreement that she introduced by not communicating. Okay, wait, I have a few more. So this one is about a graduation. This person is graduating from college, first in their entire family to do it, which is a genuinely big deal. They've been working toward this for 4 years, while working part-time jobs throughout to help cover tuition and living expenses. This wasn't handed to them. Their mom has been dating someone for about 2 years. The poster has met him a handful of times, birthday dinners, holiday things, and describes the dynamic as polite but nothing more. They don't dislike him, they just don't have a real relationship with him. He's their mom's partner, not someone they know. Their mom asked if her boyfriend could come to the graduation. The poster said no, they wanted the day to be immediate family only, a small and meaningful group of people who have actually been part of the journey. Their mom said that felt hurtful because he's important to her, and this is a significant event she wants to share with the people she loves. The poster held firm. Said they understood that, but this was their day and they wanted to control who was there for it. Now their mom is upset and has been telling people the poster is being exclusionary and making her feel like she has to choose between her child and her partner. Was the poster wrong for not inviting their mom's boyfriend to their graduation? No, it's their graduation. They're the first in the family to graduate from college. They get to decide who's in the room for it. Wanting it to be immediate family, people who have genuinely been part of this chapter, is a completely reasonable position. The mom's boyfriend being important to her doesn't make him important to this milestone. The "you're making me choose" framing is also worth noting. The poster said no to one additional guest at a graduation, not no to the relationship. Those are not the same thing. Next one. So this person's coworker, who sits near them, has been consistently loud on work calls. Not occasionally, every single day, multiple calls, full volume, no headphones, speaker mode on their desk phone. The whole open office can hear every conversation. Clients' voices, the coworkers' responses, all of it. The poster asked them nicely, once, if they could use headphones, or maybe take longer calls in a conference room. The coworker said they find headphones uncomfortable, and the conference rooms are always booked. So the poster went to their manager. The manager had a word with the coworker. The coworker found out it was the poster who said something, and has been cold and short with them ever since. A few other coworkers have said the poster should have just dealt with it, or said something again directly before going to management. Was the poster wrong for going to management after one direct conversation? I think this one's pretty clean. They said something directly. The coworker gave 2 reasons why they wouldn't change: uncomfortable headphones and no available rooms, neither of which is actually a solution to the problem. At that point, the direct conversation has run its course. Going to management isn't a dramatic escalation, it's just the next logical step when a direct ask doesn't work. The coworker being cold about it is their choice, but it doesn't make the poster wrong. Okay, one more. So this person has been with their partner for about 3 years. Things have generally been good. They describe the relationship as mostly healthy. Communication is usually okay. They genuinely like each other. But there's one pattern that keeps coming up and they can't shake it. Every time they have a disagreement or an argument about anything, big or small, their partner brings up things from the past. Not things that are directly relevant to what they're currently arguing about. Old arguments from 6 months ago that were supposedly resolved. Things that were said in the early stages of the relationship. Mistakes from the first year that they've already talked through and moved past. Every fight somehow ends up being a full retrospective of everything the poster has ever done wrong across 3 years. The poster sat down with their partner and raised this directly. Said it felt like nothing was ever truly resolved because any settled issue could be resurrected at any point. Said it made them feel like they were constantly on trial, like there was no statute of limitations on anything they'd ever said or done wrong. Their partner's response was, "I bring up the past because you keep repeating the same patterns. If you actually changed, there would be nothing to bring back up." The poster says the patterns their partner keeps referencing are things they've genuinely worked on and improved. The partner disagrees and says the changes aren't real or aren't sufficient. Was the poster wrong for asking their partner to stop bringing up the past? No. There's a meaningful and important difference between mentioning past context that's genuinely relevant to the current conversation and using a catalog of historical grievances as a weapon in unrelated arguments. If every single disagreement turns into a full history lesson, nothing is ever actually resolved. It just gets filed away for future use. The partner's argument, "If you were better, I wouldn't need to bring it up," is essentially a moving goalpost. Nobody reaches a state of being perfect enough that nothing from the past applies anymore. The ask was completely reasonable, and if the partner genuinely believes the patterns haven't changed, that's worth a direct, calm conversation on its own, not ammunition for every future argument. All right, now that's actually everything for today. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you enjoyed. More coming soon. See you next time.